Hi, this is lecture number 18 and I'll be explaining and solving the problem of calculating the factorial for a given number, which will be a user input number. Now, I have already explained the flowchart for this given problem, for this problem at hand. Now we want to code it. As we have explained earlier, and we know about the problem of factorial, that it has a repetition. So we will need two things: one, the factorial or the result, whatever the factorial is, and one, the number of which we want to know the factorial. So of course both of these are whole numbers, so I'll first of all, this is the declare part, so I will call I'll declare them to be int, and the number one is number and the second one is factorial. Okay, secondly, I have to initialize the variables as we know it. So for initialization, I will be asking for user input. Factorial. Okay, please enter the number for finding factorial. So whatever the number user inputs are, so that will be stored in the number. Now that is the number has been initialized, or instead it is much better to call it prompting, or the user input. So we are prompting the user. Okay, now the number has been initialized. Okay, perfect. There is no need for it. So then I have to initialize the factorial to be 1. Okay, so I am initializing it to be 1 and not 0, because we will be constantly multiplying, because we know the formula of factorial, that is n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into n minus 3 into n minus 4. So for whatever the n is, in the first step we will be multiplying it with the factorial by itself. So if the factorial is 1, so it does not make any difference. Say suppose if we want to find the factorial of a 5, the number is generated, the user inputs is 5, input is 5. So if you multiply it by the 1, so the result remains 5, so it does not make any difference, and you will see the effect shortly. Now here I'll be using the while loop, and the while condition is that while number is greater than 1. Why? Because the factorial formula is n into n minus 1 into n minus 2, and it comes up to 1. The last digit is 1, so it multiplies by constantly decreasing one number and up to 1. So unless number is greater than 1, what do we want? We want we want factorial to be updated. How we want to update the factorial? By multiplying constantly by the number. Factorial multiply by number. In the first step, it does not the number the factorial is 1, so the factorial will be whatever the number is, whatever the number is. Say suppose it is 5, so in the first step the factorial will be 5. So next we want to decrease the number by the value of 1. Perfect. Oh, I forgot semicolons. This is important. You should never forget the semicolons. And you know what, sometimes in the problem you will be too much involved, you might forget it, but you should not forget it. This is really important. It will give you an error, and the error is easy one. You will catch it very easily, but still you don't need any errors. Okay, the while condition is completed. There is nothing much really into this program more. So after that, at the end we want to output that the factorial is, and then whatever the factorial is. Perfect. Okay, done. So everything is complete and it seems right, and I hope so it makes sense. Okay, I execute it, compile it, save it by the name of factorial, and now come to the command prompt, call for factorial.exe. Now it will ask for the number. So suppose I'm asking for 5. In flowchart I have explained how the 5 factorial works. So the result was 120. Oh yes, the result is 120. I'm just going to explain it shortly what is happening. The number is 5. The number is 5 is greater than 1. Factorial is initialized to 1. So initially the factorial is 5 multiplied by 1, which is 5. The number is decreased to 4. The number is greater than 1, which means the condition is true. Now the factorial is 5 multiplied by 4, which is 20. The number is decreased by 1, which is 3. 3 is of course greater than 1, so this block of code will again execute. So factorial will become 20 multiplied by 3, which is 60. The number will become 2 because 3 minus 1, 2. 2 is greater than 1. Factorial will become factorial multiplied by number, which is 60 multiplied by 2. Which is 120. Now the number is 2 minus 1, 1. 1 is greater than 1, no. So this block of code will not execute. Instead, this block of code will execute. So it will generate the output. The factorial is 120. Perfect. This problem has been solved. Next we will be talking about do while loop.